So thank you everyone for tuning into this week's AMA. As always, it's a pleasure to see you guys. A little foreshadowing for some of you who may have just joined. We're doing it on Discord this week because Twitter is not being very helpful. So here we are. So the first update is that of the Blood Casino update, and that's all on you now, Freddie. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So, as we mentioned the last AMA, the development attention has been moved from the Twitter reward system as the very unpleasant API update to the Twitter API. So the attention is now on the Blood Casino. And in case you don't know, this will house multiple fun casino games that are both against the house and against other holders. And yeah, we can't wait to reveal them all. So the first game is under development and progress is coming along great. So this will be, it'll all be provably fair and on the blockchain. So yeah, that's gonna be very exciting. And although it won't be revealed just yet, you can drop your guesses on what game it will be in the chat. Lovely.
Lovely, very lovely.
Very lovely.
Thank you, Freddie. Very lovely. Before we continue, could you tell us what are some of your favorite games, maybe?
Yeah, what are you drawing inspiration from?
Yeah, can you tell us? Do you have any prior gambling experience, maybe?
Well, maybe in the past, but I don't touch that anymore. Only to make.
Oh, very reformed.
Yep. You should not gamble.
So then, so what inspiration are you drawing from this game? Do you have are they going to be able to play blackjack with blood, or is it just simple games like a coin toss?
Well, some things like blackjack are definitely on the drawing board, but yeah, there will be lots of games.
Lots of games. What about any gamblers in the chat here? Time frame for completion estimate. That is an answer only my boy young Fred can give.
Well, the first game, I hope to be out within the next few weeks. It takes some time to make a whole ass casino, but we're starting.
Perfect. Anyone else here like gambling? Gamble responsibly, please. If you do decide to gamble, my friends.
Gambler. Okay, so the next
I play Solana
let's
Shuffle.
move on swiftly from influencing people to gamble. It's about the Succy Ducky plushies. If you haven't seen yet in the announcements, we just dropped a video of the final plushie. We did hope that it would be in production before now and that people would have started receiving them, but we did want to make it as close to the original Succy Ducky trait as possible, so we did do some revisions and hopefully people like how it's turned out. So now that has been finished, it's currently in production. I believe so far we've gave out 50 out of the 100, so those people should have received codes, or I think if you won them in last week's announcement, Zoid will be messaging you shortly with your code. But we do still have 50 to give away, so we'll be giving some of those out on Twitter over the next few days and weeks as well, as the plushies are actually ready to ship out, and then the final few will go out in Discord as well. So as we mentioned, there will only ever be 100 of these, and they're not for sale, they're only to be given away. We want to get them into the hands of as many loyal Vamp holders as possible, so I'm sure the people who are in the AMA now are the people who are wanting them most, so we'll try and find out ways as well to be able to get them to you. So if you haven't won one yet, there's still going to be plenty of chances before they do ship out, and hopefully people like them, and let us know what you think of how the final one is in the chat.
Yes, lovely. Thank you. I think the Succy Ducky plushie does look great. Maybe T, can you drop the video in the chat for everyone to see who some may or may not have seen it yet?
Yeah. Let me just grab it from the thing.
Whoa, that's a very manly voice right there. I haven't heard the TG's voice in a while. Still bleed blue, hello? Chat. Yes, Ed Wolf. Okay, while we wait for the nice famous Succy Ducky to come out, of course. quote Katara, I love BJ quote. Okay, next one is that on the Bloodshop restock next week. So, we will be having an long-awaited Bloodshop restock this upcoming week. For more information on this, more details regarding this will be shared in time for next week's AMA, pertaining to the date and time details of when the restock will take place. Essentially, we've been planning this for a while, and we know we haven't had a Bloodshop restock for a little bit, but there will be one coming next week, and all the finer details will be given out next week in the AMA. So we just can't wait for everyone to see what our well-known shopkeeper Zoid has prepared for all of you.
Okay, so the next update is about the Twitter rewards program and some giveaways. As we mentioned last week, how we planned to originally do the Twitter giveaways has been changed by the way Twitter APIs now works, which is why we prioritize the casino, and Freddie's now working on getting the casino out as the first thing from the latest roadmap rather than Twitter. But in the meantime, while we are working on the best way that we can still do the Twitter rewards, we do still want to be rewarding people in our own way for engaging with the tweets, joining the Twitter spaces, which obviously wasn't possible today in the end, but moving on from next week to try and get as many people attending the Twitter spaces and spreading the word as possible. And then obviously if we start going back to some of the community initiatives as well, and using specific SVS hashtags to try and get as much SVS word out as possible. So we will be doing some giveaways, as I just mentioned, similar to the Succy, Ducky, Plushie maybe, and other NFT gifts as well. We want to start doing more and more giveaways on Twitter, so look out over the next few days and weeks, and we'll be putting out some tweets where you can win certain SVS related items from those, while we're still working on the official Twitter rewards program, which is part of the roadmap.
Lovely, thank you, Ryan. Okay, so the next point is that on more LairTV and collaborations, which will be coming along the way. So I'm sure a lot of you remember that we used to run LairTV almost every week, actually, quite a while ago. This was essentially like a program / podcast. I think podcast may be the wrong term for, although at its inception, LairTV was meant to be a podcast where we would have guests and do like an offline podcast. By offline, I mean like we would, have an interview with our guests, have an overlay, put it up on YouTube, like a real podcast style thing. But in the end, we kept the idea at its core concept, and we just decided to interview different guests, and we just decided that Twitter Spaces was overall a much better platform for something like this, right? So obviously, it has been a little bit since we have done LairTV, since just because of market conditions and with other NFC projects in the way. But essentially, we are currently working very hard, communicating and reaching out to certain projects and communities, to bring more action to the Lair and our social media platforms, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that Twitter Spaces is probably like the best way to reach just an external audience and fresh eyes, regardless. Just with the simple concept of whenever someone is in the space, it shows up at the top of the feed. Like if anyone you follow is in the space, it's going to show up at the top of the feed. So just by the nature of how this works, that it will have a much larger outreach, right? So as an example, for the past few weeks, we've been doing AMAs on Twitter Spaces, and we have consistently like 45 to 60 people viewing, right? And now we have like 20 less than that here in Discord, right? So I think Twitter Spaces are probably one of the best things that any project or anyone who wants to work on the outreach can take seriously, to try and reach a larger audience, right? Especially when you do like a LairTV with other projects or other notable people in the space, and you have both kind of fan bases and communities. Maybe fan base is the wrong word. Communities kind of coming together, right? So essentially, we understand that things have been a little bit slow, and the market has not been ideal from this, but we are still doing our best to work with others, in whatever capacity that they're able to kind of reach an agreement and to try of these LairTVs, right? We have a few LairTV guests lined up, and we will be announcing them soon as we can coincide dates and timing and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, it can be a little bit difficult because time zones and things like that, right? Especially with man like 2D being probably like furthest away from the world than everyone else. But that is the idea, and that is the concept that we're going for. And LairTV is personally one of my favorite things to do. I think it's always very nice to be able to chat with other people of interest, other notable people, or even sometimes in my personal experience, some of the most fun chats and eye-opening experiences have been with some notable community members within SVS. Right? I remember I did another one with Holder, who worked high up in the NBA, works for an NBA team. So the basketball coach. So I think overall it's a pretty cool experience, especially when you see how kind of people who are not really in tune with the Web3 and NFTs kind of make that transition over. And kind of, form Web3 into a core part of their lives. What about you guys? What do you guys think? Is there anyone within this space or this community that is willing to come up and have a chat? Right? Yes, I definitely agree. We need one with Crisis. Crisis is the man. Would you be willing to talk with the Solana project? Definitely, Robo B. You can always just DM that to T or Mars, and they will arrange it. But definitely, we're not like like ideally only ETH or anything like that. Is Crisis here? I think one with Crisis would be a banger, right? But yes, if you guys have any other suggestions, even General, I think would make a great one. General has many years working within Sony and stuff like that. Yeah, Robo-B, no worries, man. Like at the end of the day, once anyone else is like open to it, then we just kind of communicate, working out, working out timing that works between us and them and stuff like that. Okay, I think thank you, Robo B. You can always just message me on Discord, T or Mars. I always check my DMs every single day anyway. So I'll always attend to it, no worries. Yes, I do think it'll be great exposure for almost anyone involved. That's it for this week's updates. We're going to go on through some quick questions before we zip off. Let me see. Patrick Bamford. I want to know if you're all okay running a project in a difficult market, must be wearing. So I want to know how you're all feeling. Well, Freddie's at a risk of cardiac arrest, but the rest of us are doing pretty okay. Nah, I'm just playing. But overall, I think it can be very tiring and it can be very weary, but we've been doing this for a long time now. It's pretty much a year and a half at this point, and I think SVS, the easiest way that I can put it for everyone that is here right now that you see, it is a lifelong commitment from all of us to be able to give our best for this project and this community, right? You guys have given us back almost everything. So, I think this is the least that is expected of us, right? So regardless, regardless of the situation, we still will be here and we still will be working, every week, week in, week out. Obviously, it's a little bit easier, I would say, when you have momentum, which is very important with NFT projects and the market is very bullish and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we have set out plans and we have set out goals for the upcoming years, and we will stick to it and do our best to achieve whatever we can, right? That's all that matters at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, yeah, it can be a little bit wearing, and we're doing okay. I personally am doing okay. I just it's important to have things you focus on in real life as well. When SVS first was at its inception, I remember all of us were working like 15, 16 hours a day. And that lasted for like a year. So it's good to just like cut back a little bit of those hours now. and still be able to get everything done. I think as you with anything in life, I think as you mature and you grow through your work and your field, you kind of are able to, be more efficient with things you do, right? So at the end of the day, we can work a little bit less now and focus a little bit more on real life stuff, and be able to achieve the same outcome, right? Because obviously, man, like 2D is getting a little bit older. I'm 28 now. I just moved in with my girlfriend, so I think focusing on real life is a good way to take your mind off the market stability at the moment, right? So yes, I encourage that the same for everyone, right? At the end of the day. So yes, I encourage everyone to focus in real life a little bit and just kind of have things and goals you set out for long term. Okay, that was long-winded. 2D's getting old. I ain't getting that old. 28 only, Freddy's growing too, man. Like Fred's going sideways. Nah. Fred's losing weight, guys. Soon you guys will see a new and improved Fred. From the new SVS meetup sometime this year, you guys will see a new and improved Freddy. We can even make an over-under blood bet on the casino. How much Freddy will weigh by the time the meetup happens. Oh, that's a great idea.
I agree.
I agree.
So the questions
definitely.
for this week, we don't have too many. A few of them are about the casino as well, so hopefully Freddie can give us a bit more insight. But if you do have any more questions, be sure to put them in the lair now, and we'll try and get to them after the ones we have wrote down. So the first one is, what is up with this blur airdrop? Did SVS claim tokens, as I believe creators with certain criteria received the airdrop?
So with the blur airdrop, if you guys didn't know, it was an NFT-based airdrop, and yeah, so creators and collection owners did get an airdrop. So yes, the deploy got some today, which Fred promptly claimed wasn't that much, but yeah, that will be sent straight over and to use on the, basically the blood bag. Next question for Ryan is, what is the ETA, the Succy Ducky plushie?
Oh yeah, so we don't actually have an ETA exactly right now. We're hoping that they'll be in production and finished as soon as possible. When they were originally going to go into production last month after our first mock-up, it was the Chinese New Year, which gave a bit of a delay. But then we made some revisions as well because we weren't happy with a few of the things. But hopefully everyone's happy with the video that we just put in now. So they are now in production. I will try and push the company to see exactly when we'll be able to start shipping them out, because that'll give us more idea of how we will give out the rest of the codes as well. Ideally, we'll give out all the codes before they're ready to ship, so we can ship out as most of them at the same time as possible. So hopefully everyone starts receiving them around the same time. But I will try and get back to everyone if we do actually get a date. For those who have already received their codes, the website is already up for you to place the order, so they're already collecting the shipping details of everyone who's received the code so far and placed the order. So if you have received the code but haven't placed the order through the website yet, be sure to do that so that your order is confirmed, and as soon as they are ready to ship, they will do. But in the meantime, I'm sure it'll be over the next couple of weeks that they'll be finished and they'll be shipped out. So we'll make sure to give out as many codes as possible. As I mentioned before, we'll try and get those to, the people who want them the most, the people who are in the lair day in, day out. So as well as the giveaways in the announcements channel, we'll be working to do some for the verified vamps, and we might even be able to just give some to the people who haven't got one but are active in the lair every day. So if you do want one, make sure you give us some feedback, post about them in the lair and things like that, and we'll try and get the codes to as many people as possible so you can place your orders so they're ready to ship as soon as they're out of production.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ryan. Next few questions we have are for Fred. So first one, Fred, is there a limit on how many games the casino can have?
Yeah, that's a good question. So of course there's like limited number of games that can be made, but the limit is very, very large. So that can be a lot of games. The only limit is time to make them. Yeah.
You have a lot of time, right?
Yep.
I think you're pretty free. So I think we will set a limit. The casino will have 50 games, I think. Okay, next question for Fred. Will there be a minimum/maximum bet for the casino?
Yes. So at least in the start, although will always be a limit, but the limit will be changed as we get more comfortable and see how people, how big people's bets are. So one bet can't just ruin the whole thing. But yeah, there will be limits.
Okay, last question. It's fun to do custom wagers between vamps, like over/under on Freddy's weight by the time we reach next meetup. Will this be possible?
Well, that it is definitely an idea, and one of the reasons this whole casino got started. So at some point, yeah, we will have custom bets, so to say, where we will be able to like verify bets, and then people can sort of pick an over/under, and yeah, swap blood in that way.
Okay, perfect. Anyone else have any last-minute questions before we go on? Feel free to ask anything, by the way. Like, what did Fred have for dinner yesterday? How many calories are you eating every day? When was the last time you exercised? Are you a healthy human being? Etc., etc., etc. How was your skiing holiday last week? That was a good one.
Well, let's just say skiing is not for me.
Did you try properly? I'm sure it was fine.
But I stick
more than one time to
Yeah, nobody gets it. Nobody gets skiing on the first time.
Yeah. Well,
So
it did go very fast.
It did go very what?
It did go a bit fast for my liking. But...
Oh, so you managed it then? Is the mountain okay?
Oh my god.
Fucking Ed Wolf.
Did you fall though? Like, in all honesty, did you fall over?
Oh, I took it very safe, so I only fell once. But
that's doable.
Did it hurt?
No, I just laid down. Yes.
You do that quite a bit anyway.
Okay.
Favorite meal to eat for lunch? Well, Fred only eats one meal a day, so let's hear his answer. I eat Nando's half chicken for lunch every day almost. So.
I don't know, like sandwich.
Oh, what sandwich? What's your favorite sandwich?
Probably like a club sandwich.
Or gentleman's club sandwich?
Oh.
That too.
Oh, is that what your favorite sandwich is? Little hooker sandwich? Okay. Does Adderall count as a meal? I don't think, Fred. Have you ever had Adderall, Fred? Have you ever had Adderall?
No, I don't do drugs.
No to drugs.
I have to ask someone else who's up here for that.
Everyone knows Ryan does coke for the AMAs anyway. Okay, so...
It's my 200 words per minute give it away that much.
Yes, it has. I think that's it for this week. Thanks everyone for tuning into this week's AMA. It's always so lovely to speak to all of you. We're happy to be here week in, week out. Sorry that we had to do it on Discord this week and revert from the normal Twitter Spaces routine. Unfortunately, Long was being a little bit of a dog, but it'll be okay. So next week we shall see all of you guys back on Twitter Spaces. Hopefully we have a LairTV soon lined up as well. And on that note, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.